everyone, let's talk about a taboo subject, okay? Which is dieting, right? Let's talk about dieting. Let's talk about food. I love food. I love all kinds of food. I am not one of those picky bitches. Oh, I'm a vegetarian. No. I love all food. The only one that I don't gravitate to on a salad bar is pickled beets. But other than that, I'll eat them. When we were raised, my mother fixed one meal for dinner. Well, she actually fixed breakfast too. Whatever she fixed is what we ate. We were not coddled kids at all. And the parents nowadays that coddle these kids, they're doing a disservice to their children. Believe me. That's why I'm not a substitute teacher anymore. I couldn't handle it. So back to food. My mother was always overweight, and I used to be kind of embarrassed of my mother when I was in elementary. Even back then, when I was in elementary, I sometimes I didn't invite her to school functions. I was so embarrassed of her. Now, she was not that big. She was probably about 190 maybe. But she's always had a weight problem. And I've watched her eat, and I know why, because she's the type that would sample the food as she's cooking it. Yeah. Now, my father got up to like a 54-inch waist once, but then he had a stroke, and then he walked it off, and then he was normal weight. But he was most of his life when he was working, he was of a good weight. All right, now I have two sisters who've had gastric bypass. They did not fare well. I don't know the details because my memory's not as sharp, but one of them went to another addiction, which I think is even worse than food addiction. And the other one had a failed gastric bypass, and she recently broke her ankle in 3 places, and the weight has come back on. But I hope that she does get a revision. Well, she never even had surgery in the first place. They were waiting for her ankle to stop swelling, and it never stopped swelling. Still swelled up. So I think once she gets this revision surgery, she will lose some of that because she's not very mobile, you know what I mean? But yeah, 2 of my sisters have always had weight problems. Now, my other sister, the one that was an RN, she's never had that issue, but she's always been probably 20 pounds more than me, I guess. She never... None of my sisters, when I was in school, could wear. Sometimes my sister, the one that passed, Bonnie, she could wear some of my clothes back then, but not once she got married. So the only one who can wear my clothes now is my daughter. She's my size. She's still in Key West, and for all of y'all that express concern, she's doing really good now. She resumed her business. She has an internet business where she sends you boxes. I've done a lot of videos about it. Blend box. And I have to get her sign on stuff again. But she's doing a whole lot better. Oh my God. Uh-oh. What the hell? Okay. So back to the food. Yeah, food's been a big issue. Weight has been a big issue in my family. Now, I was at the pool for the first time in a long time, and I got one of my nieces to take my picture, because you all never get to see a picture of me full body, because not unless I set up a tripod and stand in front of it. But she took some pictures, and they were pretty good, and I did post it on one of my videos of me in a bathing suit. Now, I looked at it, and I go, I'm not bad off for 68 years old. I could be a lot better. Now, she and I have a contest. We are going to go to the gym every day if we can, and there's going to be a prize. We'll see who wins. She joined Planet Fitness. Of course, I joined Planet Fitness, but we need some kind of motivation. So we're going to motivate each other. And I think once I get on a regular regimen there, I can get toned up. I've never had to exercise my whole life because the work that I've had to do my whole life kept me pretty agile. Because, I'm now weed whacking my yard and mowing my yard, once or twice a week, working in the garden, working in the crawl space. You stay pretty agile. Yeah. Now I'm down to like one meal a day, one full meal. Now, because I take, blood pressure and cholesterol, I have to have a piece of toast in the morning. I'll have a piece of toast. My little sister has a beau. He's mentally challenged. He brings her a loaf of raisin bread once a week, I think. And I took it because she's not really eating it. So that helps me have something in my stomach when I take all the pills. I had to switch to diet drinks when I had lived in Florida. She needs to switch to diet drinks because those sweet Cokes will really put the weight on you. And my sister, who had diabetes, she caught diabetes from Coca-Colas. She drank like 6 a day. That's how she told me she got diabetes. So I drink a lot of water, and very rarely, I had a chocolate addiction when I worked for Walgreens. I'd have to have a Reese cup. I now switched to ice cream. Now I'll treat myself to a little pint of ice cream maybe once or twice a month. That's very rare though. I try not to overeat because I don't like that full feeling, because then you don't feel like doing anything, right? When I was growing up, my mother never did the dishes after dinner. And I think it's because she ate so much she probably couldn't move. And she really did not expect us to do it. Once in a while she'd say, okay, it's your turn. But she never did the dishes after dinner. But I only have one really good meal a day. Now, I do snack on maybe some crackers or something to keep the hunger pains away. But the water fills me up, and I do have a problem with potato chips. Grandma Utz's, yeah. So I have to be very conscious of what I'm eating. And I hardly ever watch TV, because when you're snacking in front of the TV, that's going to put on the pounds. Yeah. So I don't do that. And I bought V8, the low sodium, to help with vegetables. And this time of year in my garden, I do have a lot of vegetables. I love tomatoes. My favorite food is lobster. Of course, no one in hell can afford it. And shrimp. My parents loved shrimp. We would have shrimp parties. They would go and buy 10, 20 pounds of shrimp and cook them in big kettles like this, and crabs. We used to go get our own crabs because we always lived on the water. And I'd cook them. We used to cook so many crabs that I think the timer melted on the stove at my mother's. But I just left Royal Farms, which is like at Sheetz in Maryland, and they now don't have checkout. You have to just do a self-checkout now. And I heard from Walmart that we now have to unload their tractor-trailer trucks. I mean, this is getting ridiculous. There's so many elderly people who are not going to be able to keep up with this new age electronic stuff. The only reason why I am is because I worked for Walgreens for 5 years. So it is going to be very hard to keep up with computers and stuff like this for the elderly. I feel so very sorry for them. And I think I just heard that Walmart is going with full self-checkout. Oh my God. But I was thinking a really good job would be a stalker on the midnight shift. I see a lot of TikTokers, putting a camera up and you just watch them all night long, stocking the shelves. So, yeah, I've always had to watch my weight. I think the most I've ever weighed is 183, and I was miserable. Now, the more I do during the day, the less I weigh. If I'm very, very busy, I just forget to eat, and I don't even want to eat. But I think when you're idle, when you have nothing, when you don't want to do anything, or you're laying in the bed eating, that is a bad. It's a bad habit. But yeah, I think when I worked at Walgreens, I was 171. 171 is good. I looked really good at 145. I think when I was living with my last fiance, I got down to 145. Because I think if you're in love, you lose weight. I do. That's how I know if I'm in love. The weight just falls off. You don't even want to eat, right? When you're in love, okay. I don't know if that still holds true nowadays. But yeah, weight is a huge issue in our world. When I was at the swimming pool, I think 98% of everybody at the pool was overweight. Including me. Yeah, according to the weight scales, I'm considered obese. I think they want me to be 135. Now, when I was in Mrs. Virginia, I was in that pageant twice. I placed top 12 both times. I weighed 135, and I looked really good. And I just only ate one meal a day, a really small meal, no snacking, black coffee. And I lost 20 pounds in 1 week, and I did that on purpose because I wanted to look good, coming across the stage. But, yeah, I have had liposuction. I have had a tummy tuck. And I tell you, the lipo took a little bit of time to recover. But, yeah. So a lot of women are doing that. But this is what they don't tell you. Is that when you have lipo, the fat, if you do not watch your appetite, the fat, if you start eating, the fat's going to go somewhere else. And I think one of my sisters alerted me to this because they have a friend where all the fat went to her legs and she looked, odd. And so you have to watch out for that. So if you're not willing to do a lifetime of watching what you eat, you should not get lipo, because once they suck out those fat cells, it will, if you overeat, will go some other place in your body. So I hope this helps some of you all. Bye.